Welcome all to the next episode in Coffee with Phoebes. Ever since the NIT Trichy campus was closed in 2020, the number one question on every student's mind has been when will the college reopen? With the recent decrease in the number of COVID cases and colleges all over India reopening once again, there is a newfound hope among the student community. This hope is only reinforced by comments from experts from the WHO saying that we are reaching an endemic stage of the epidemic.
To shed some light on this matter and understand the administration's stand on the entire process of reopening the campus, we have with us Dr. N. Kumaresan. He is the Dean of Student Welfare and has held this position from even before the pandemic. He is a professor at the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering and was the HOD of the department from 2012 to 2015 as well. It's a pleasure to have you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. So for the first question we have for you are there any plans in motion right now for regarding reopening the campus?
Before answering for this first question, as you are aware, due to the continued threat of COVID-19 pandemic for the past 17 months, I guess it's from March 2020, we have been forced to conduct classes online. So students could not assemble in classroom, listen to the teachers, interact with them face to face, exchange your greetings and smile at your friends, and continue your teamwork in person, particularly in laboratory and project sessions. We can understand. In fact, we faculty members also will miss you a lot. So offline is always great, and we love to have the students in the campus. So this is unfortunate situation. Under this situation, from the NIT Tiruchirappalli, we request everyone, particularly the students, keep positive mindset. So collectively, we'll do the level best what we can do. So our passion for teaching and your determination to learn and assimilate remain the same as ever, even in online classes. That's what, as a faculty, I observe. So now come back to your question. Is there any plan for reopening the campus, that is physical classes for the students? Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So as you rightly mentioned, based on the clearance from the government, PhD scholars were brought to the institute to provide physical access to carry out their academic activities by following all COVID precautionary measures and safety. So we have insisted that the students should have taken at least one dose of COVID vaccine, and also they should produce the certificate for that. The students from other states should produce the COVID negative report certificate for joining the institute. Such students entering the hostels should be in quarantine for a week and follow the planned and listed use of restroom, washroom, even wash basin, right, and other facilities to maintain social distancing and to avoid crowd in any place. Once they complete that quarantine, particularly on the fifth day, the RT-PCR test was conducted to all the scholars on the fifth day of their quarantine, and then they were permitted to stay in their regular room and visit the departments. Further, once they enter the hostel, they are not permitted to go home during the pandemic period. This is really a challenging from the administrative side, because if you want to go back to home or for some emergency work, when you want to re-enter, again quarantine norms will be there. So when they do that, we insist upon the paid quarantine, because it's very difficult for the hostel administration to do the quarantine every time. So that's again the challenge what administration we face. So such cases, we ask the students to do in the paid quarantine in the guest house. And after completing that 7 day and RT-PCR test, they will be permitted to join in the hostel. Now the PhD scholars have resumed their experimentation work in the department. All the safety norms are being strictly followed and going good. So I hope you will understand that underlying fact what I just mentioned. We are for bringing back the students back to the campus, and we have to follow certain protocols and safety measures. And we cannot leave out any of the things for the safety of the students and the safety of everyone staying in the campus. Okay? Yeah.
Yes, sir. So as you had mentioned about PhD students, the next question is about the UG students. So is there a limit to the number of UG students who will be brought back to campus in the near future? And if so, how will they be given the priority to return to the campus?
Yeah, it's a good question. Again, considering the safety and the quarantine facilities, now we have started bringing the PG students and PhD scholars admitted in July 2021 session to the institute in 4 slots. Like every slot, Artstral administration can manage something like 300 students quarantine. Because in a week quarantine, the breakfast, lunch, dinner, everything to be served to their room. So packing and again supplying that food material to their room is the big challenge. So managing more than 300 is difficult as of now. So at this juncture, I thank Students Welfare Office, Security Officer, Medical Officer, Hostel Administration, also the Students Council for their extraordinary support. As of now, this is going very smooth. And for the second year PG students and as well as PhD, all the PhD scholar, we will complete by this month end, September. And then we are planning for the UG students undergraduate. In the first stage, we had the discussion with the Students Council as well. We thought of bringing the club activity students, those who need the hardware and those who want to use the lab facilities and orientation team, Pragyan team, Festember team, placement team. So we want to bring them in a voluntary basis. Then if this is going smooth, we have to make some more plan and we have to wait for the kind of guidelines what we receive from the government also. Then we can think of bringing the undergraduate students also. But according to me, after October 15th, mid of October, I think we can think of bringing the UG students in a phased manner. But still, we are making the plan and working on that. Okay.
Yes, sir. It is actually understandable because the situation is very dynamic. We can't plan anything and set it in stone and expect it to happen as such.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Moving on to the next question, sir. What preventative measures will be taken against the spread of COVID? Just like you said for PhD scholars, that they will have set breakfast, lunch, dinner, and set timing of use for washrooms and restrooms. UG students, when they come, will it be any different because the number of students are large as well?
Yeah. So I feel it should not be the different because we cannot leave out anything. So all the safety measures should be ensured. So in fact, right now, if you see that even the plates, tumbler, they use their own. The students, they use their own plates, tumblers, and they wash all the things and they keep separately. So maybe that kind of I think protocol we have to extend for the UG also for some time. And on the other hand, in the institute, vaccination is I mean for all the staffs almost 80% it's over. And those who enters, the students who are all entering to the institute, We want to make sure that at least one dose they should complete. Subsequent subsequent dose, we organize. In fact, today the camp is going on in our institute, and around 70 plus PhD scholars, they are taking the second dose, both in Covishield and the Covaxin. So we see all kind of arrangement, all the necessary things needed for the safety of the students. And in the mess, again, the number is restricted. So we cannot put all the students in one mess. And we try to put cross mark in the alternate, what to say that, the desk, so that social distancing is maintained. So it's difficult for the students to put the mask because they have to eat. So that those things is not possible. Whereas all other social distancing and other kind of COVID safety measures, we are taking care. It is common for anybody entering in the hostel area. Even some temporary faculty members would like to stay in the hostel, they have to follow the similar procedure. So we cannot give a different rule for somebody staying in hostel area. Hope you will understood.
Yes, sir. So actually, GJCH and Orion were functioning as the temporary COVID wards, right? So once the students are allowed back on campus, how will this be changing?
Now, already they have closed that COVID care center. It's not operating in our institute. And also all kind of the precautionary measures like disinfecting, etc. we have carried out. And now it's in our control. Now it is not the COVID care center. It is closed. So Orion
Okay.
is now with us.
Yes, sir. That's nice to know, sir. So the next question is, what additional safeguard measures will be placed in NITT hospital, given the situation, and how would the hospital be equipped to respond to emergency cases?
Yeah. So prior to this, let me give you a brief of what medical officers they are doing in bringing back the students. So now that entry form filled by the student, soft copy, it will be sent to medical officer. Each and every entry form is examined by the medical officer. Then they give the clearance. Upon clearance from the medical officer, then the students can enter. So it means they have the complete history of the students, those who are entering the institute. Right. So now with respect to the facility available in our NITT hospital, it's not meant for COVID treatment. So it's a normal hospital. However, our medical officers, they are having the good rapport with the government hospital and the reputed hospital in and around Tiruchirappalli. So if COVID cases we receive in our institute, so immediately they will refer to the government hospital, and the cooperation from the government hospital is very good, and they are cooperating very well, and they are taking care. And we have the, as you know, ambulance 24/7 ambulance service is available in the institute. It's going on well.
Yes, sir. So the next question is regarding testing for COVID. So how often will the students and staff be tested for COVID after they return to campus? And as you had mentioned, you are conducting vaccination drives right now. So how often will these vaccination drives be conducted on the campus after the students return?
Just a minute. So with respect to the RT-PCR test, so in the hostel for everybody, on the 5th day of their quarantine, we are doing the COVID test, RT-PCR test to everyone. So even one or two cases we observed for the PhD scholar as well as PG scholars. It's very mild, and they have been self-quarantined, and we have taken care, and they are safe. And then after few days, they are back to normal, and they are joining the department also. And say again, as a COVID precautionary measure in the institute and the screening procedure, RT-PCR test was also conducted for all the day scholar. It includes PhD, JRF, SRF, and those who are working in the projects, etc. So this one, in fact, we have conducted in the last month on 23rd of last month, Monday, and the samples collected from the team from Nawalpur to upgraded government PHC. So we do as and when it is needed, we conduct that RT-PCR test and come back to the vaccination. I'm unable to give that exact number of camp we have organized, but we do the sufficient number. Today it's going on Covishield, I guess it's 300 and Covaxin 100 in number. And we have requested that medical officer and team to have one more camp after 2 weeks, because so after 2 weeks we'll have some more our PG students will have the due. So therefore we are conducting this vaccination camp regularly for benefiting our students as well as faculty members and staff of our institute.
That's actually very nice to know, sir. And the next question we have is, would the shops and services like, say, for example, 2K Market or laundry shops or so, inside NITT be open and operate normally? Or if they are, what are the precautions they are supposed to take, and what other alternatives which may be arranged?
So right now 2K Market is available for staff, faculty, students. And now the 2K Market, they are doing the good service in the sense. So even from my house, I'm not going to the shop. I'm putting in the WhatsApp order and it will be delivered to my home. So home delivery, they are doing it. So by that way, we can reduce the number of person entering the shop. So similar is the case with all other shop. And since the students are very less, even the cycle shop and other things, slowly it has to be come into operation. Now only the students are entering. So now we have to think of operating more shops. So or otherwise, everything is in normal, and everywhere we see that the social distancing is maintained, wearing the mask. So that is ensured. So we try our level best even to educate everyone if they don't do it. So we ask the persons to wear the mask and keep the social distancing and so on. And like now the only canteen, few canteens are there. The big canteen is not in operation since there is no students. It's not in operation. Once students back, then we have to think whether to operate the canteen or to provide some facility in the mess itself. So we are working on that, and we have to come up with some workable solution, keeping the safety of the students and everyone.
That's really nice to hear, sir, especially because these shops are very close to the hearts of the students. So that's good to hear. The next question is regarding going outside the campus. So, would students be allowed to go outside campus once they return? And are there any regulations, as you had mentioned about day scholars, are there any regulations for day scholars to be attending the daily classes?
In fact, if the day scholar want to stay in the hostel, that is great, but it's very difficult for them to stay in the hostel, since some of them married and some of them they have their own problems. So with respect to the hostelers, we have only one rule. If they want move out of the hostel for some emergency to their home or for attending some function, we are not preventing, but the re-entry we have to do the same rule. When they want back to the institute, 7 days quarantine, on 5th day RT-PCR test, those things are essential. Also, as I already mentioned, doing the free quarantine is again difficult from the hostel administration side. So they have to do the quarantine on payment basis in the guest house. So this is the logic as of now we are following. And for some essential work in that town, and if that is acceptable, and they can take their own vehicle, complete it, and back to the hostel in a shorter duration. It's again not always approved, and we have to see magnitude or validity of the request.
Yes, sir. That actually is that makes sense for us also, because we can't prevent everyone from going somewhere in within the town also. So yeah, the next question we have is, the government of India right now seems to be intent on banning commercial flights for a little more duration. So how would people from the Gulf or some other international countries be able to come back, or even if they do come back, what if they are stuck within the country and not able to return home?
I mean, when classes are started offline, or
Yes, sir. Right now, for bringing them back, assuming that all the voluntary people have come back and the classes are starting offline.
yeah, so it's really difficult to answer now. So if some genuine cases are there, something like this, if they're stuck in some places because of some protocols they have to follow, always we have experienced, we can go, such candidates, they can go in online. In case offline is initiated for all other candidates. So I think it will come a little bit longer, I mean later only, not immediate. And we will give the sufficient time for their return. So even for the PhD scholar entry, PG scholar entry, we have given the sufficient time, and individual mails sent to the candidates, and we have given the sufficient time for their travel plan and other things. So we have not forced them immediately to come back to the campus. So that problem will not be there for the students. If they have the genuine request, I think it will be taken care as case by cases.
Yes, sir, that's great. So, given that the students will be returning in phases and on a voluntary basis, and also this NRA student issue that we just mentioned before, so how will the academic work continue when some students are back on campus and some are still not there?
It's a good question. I really do not know. I am the competent to answer that, because so the dean academic, if we ask the dean academic, he can give or throw some light on that. Anyway, let me give my opinion. So when all the students are back, no issue, we can have that offline classes. If someone missed out for some valid reason, definitely our institute will give some opportunity for them to continue in online. So that's my opinion, and we have to see what kind of development it's going to happen in coming days, because for MSc candidates right now, Dean Academic sent to the HODs, asked the number of students returned to the campus, and at the first level, so is it possible to conduct assessment in offline? Because that is possible. So instead of online, if everybody is in the campus, so Orion, it is the very big classroom. So by following all the COVID precautionary measures, right? So 40 students can be accommodated with social distancing and etc. etc. You know that it's a big size classroom. So therefore, it is possible to conduct assessment, test, examination. So this is the first level. Dean Academic started now, and then subsequently classes also can be started in offline by following all the COVID precautionary measures. But we have to wait. So it is not immediate. I'm sure This will not happen for this semester. This is my judgment. So it may happen in next semester, not this semester, because almost maybe 1 month over for undergraduate students. So having that offline classes is ruled out for this semester. Next semester, we have to wait and see
Yes.
what way we can plan, because whatever be the case, the safety is the first we have to see. So we have to ensure the safety for everyone, not only the students, everyone staying in the campus. So I am staying in the campus throughout this COVID period where I have not moved out. So very rare. Only once or twice I moved out to Chennai for to drop my son in institute.
Yes, sir. It's actually very nice to hear about the priority given to the safety of everyone inside the campus, which is very reassuring and would probably help people encourage them to come back to campus as well. So the next question we have is, will there be any form of restrictions placed on the extracurricular and co-curricular activities, say like clubs, and how will they differ depending on what their activities are?
Yeah. So with respect to the clubs, whatever they can do it in online, it's going fine. So technical clubs, particularly hardware clubs, so doing in online, it's very difficult. That's they are feeling, particularly racing club, RMI, and other clubs. So software clubs, not the issue. I think they are doing it as usual. But hardware club, they are struggle a lot. And the sports and games, almost nil. So now nobody is there. So when students back, we have to see how to bring back those things normal. So that's the real challenge involved with every one of us. It includes students also, because we can put more number of rules and regulations and you have to follow. You have to cooperate. So it is everyone cooperation is essential for the safety and also to move further. So at this juncture, positive mindset is very much essential with students, faculty members, staff, everyone staying in the campus. So I wish as a team we can do better and do good services to our students also.
Yes, sir. So I think this club and sports activities is something that all of us have really missed out on. So if we could cooperate and get something done, it would be really great.
Yeah, in fact, today morning, once again, I have discussed with the Students' Council. So I have asked Students' Council to collect the information. So for the technical club, club activities, cultural clubs, so big events like Festember, Pragyan, Knitfest, right? So on volunteering basis, if they want to come back, yes, they can. I asked the Students' Council to collect the data, then we will discuss, we'll see the number, and if that number we are able to manage it, then we will call back. So again, once students enter into the institute, they have to stay within the campus. So if they leave that hostel, then bringing them back or allowing them back is difficult from our side. So that is a condition, or otherwise, we already having the plan in bringing this club activities in physical mode and bringing that the academic activities. So still for undergraduate, we are making plans because the number of students in each year is 1,000 plus. So therefore, we have to see how to do the quarantine and then move to normal hostels, etc. That we are working on that. So once it's we get the workable solution, then we'll inform to the students.
That's great. So, finally, is there any message that you would like to convey to the students and the parents?
Yes. So for first 1.5 years, so we are missing out a lot. The students, there many mails used to come to me. So having that online class is very trouble to the students. So same thing applies to faculty members also. Take it in the lighter sense. As your students, you have the liberty to mute both video and audio. But we faculty members, we do not have that liberty. So whether someone is listening or not, so I have to teach. So, and students, they are missing out the habit of taking the notes, writing the examination without seeing the book. So those are all the skills it's really needed for your future job and other things. So I know because I'm not seeing you are all the students. I'm seeing you are all my children because in my house, so my son is struggling a lot in online mode. So, but what to do? So we have to undergo this difficult situation, and under this difficult situation, we have to keep our positive mindset. So otherwise, we'll go mentally will be weak. So we should not go into that state. So hopefully we should be able to commence our UG classes also in offline mode. Maybe next semester I could see that the possibility is there. And then online classes will go off. Wherever it's possible, we can have the online classes, but offline class is always the best. More than you are interacting with the faculty members, so you can enjoy the facility available in NIT Tiruchirappalli. So the climate, so greeneries. Now, even in this 1.5 years, so at least two Miyawaki forest we have created. So within the campus, so birds, peacocks. So we can enjoy everything here, and let us try our level best. Our part, we are also taking all measures in bringing back to the campus. And my request is, please cooperate. I can understand listening all the things in online mode is very difficult. So after some time, our mind will saturate. So, but still, we have to adjust to the situation. You're all doing it, but still, you have to adjust to the situation. So writing the examination, even uploading the answer sheet, many students had the problem. So somehow, even the students as well as faculty from our institutes, we are all cooperative, and complaint on uploading the answer sheet, those things are minimized a lot as compared to I mean maybe May 2020, May or June 2020. So now we trained ourselves and adapted ourselves to the situation. That's essential. So we wish we'll back to the campus, we'll back to normal, and we wish to see all to the campus back. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir. What you said about the positive mindset is actually very true, and that is probably very important for us to keep hope that we'll return to campus and all of that. And even if we do come back, we are very satisfied, and we are very. It is very comforting to know that safety is a very huge priority, even if we do come back. So thank you very much for this session that you've given us, and I hope that every student who will be watching this will benefit from it. So yeah, thank you very much for doing this, sir.
Thank you. Take care.